Hello, I'm Jack. Nice to meet you. Today, we will discuss an existential crisis. Let's jump right in. Humanity has been ever-changing. New ideas and technology have been prevalent in our society. Wrong! Life doesn't change, and I will prove it shortly. First, we have to break down what humanity has already created, what we know about life already, and that is computers. Unless you've been living under a rock for a decade, in which case you probably look like an even slender Slenderman, you most likely know what these things are. Slenderman, okay. These things are the basis of our lives, and to talk to them, we need to speak a specific language called code. Luckily, all code breaks down into binary. Jack, what's binary? Good question, Mini-Me. It's boring. It's boring. It's boring. It's boring. It's boring. It's boring. It's this boring system of ones and zeros. I'm not going to explain it. It's not going to be fun. The one thing you do need to know is that a 1 is a yes, and a 0 is a no. Now, the next thing we have to do is explain how the binary system is the basis of all life. If you think about it, everything you do can be boiled down to a yes or a no, a 1 or a 0. You give and take consent. Maybe I should use a different word. Let me give an example. You're cruising down the street in your 6'4", jocking the bitches, slapping a hoe, when all of a sudden you see Joe the Ice Cream Man's ice cream stand. And you think to yourself, do I want ice cream? Yes or no. 1 or 0. You give and take consent. Okay, maybe it's a bit more complicated than that. Maybe there's some reasons you want ice cream, and other reasons you don't. You don't want ice cream because you don't want to support Joe. And who would? Joe's a backstabbing hoe, and we all know it. I'm on to you, Joe. A reason you want ice cream is because you like ice cream, especially in iced form. But does the taste of iced cream outweigh Joe's backstabbing tendencies? No. Fuck you, Joe. That's 1 yes and 2 no's. The no's win. And that's just one situation you can break down into yes and no. So, we've boiled down life into yes and no, 1 or 0. Life equals some number. This is where it gets complicated with math. The worst kind of complicated. If you don't know derivative calculus, then you're gonna have to trust me on this one. I don't know derivative calculus. Okay, you need to know algebra kinda a bit. Let's take the equation y equals 3x plus 1. The 1 is the y-intercept, and we don't care about that. But the 3 is the slope. Another word for slope is rate of change. So the rate of change of y in terms of x is 3. Okay, let's plug in our life equation. Remember that y-intercept we didn't care about before? Well, now we care about it. Because the rate of change of that number is nothing. There is no change. And if life equals some number, then the rate of change of life is nothing. Life doesn't change. Or binary isn't the basis of all life, and technically speaking, a 1 can change to a 0 and a 0 can change to a 1 in binary, so there is some kind of change. I have asthma. I can't leave my house. I'm bored.